Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast, where we nailed the interview portion. It's me, your man, MG Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and Laquan Jones. Nice to be all back together again, guys. It's been
I'm back.
a couple shows. Yeah, man.
I'm alive.
How you feeling, man?
We're at like 80%, not 100 yet, but it was a rough couple days, man. But I'm back.
Good to hear.
The New Orleans flu.
You know who gave it to me.
Was it? I mean, look, you were out there hunting down Shia LaBeouf. I mean, sometimes you got to face consequences. Successfully.
And the crazy thing is, it wasn't that I went to go look for him. He actually found me. It was one of those things like, oh, hey, what's up?
It feels like you don't find Shia LaBeouf. It feels like Shia LaBeouf finds you.
He came up to Laquan and he was like, huge fan of the NFL Fantasy Football show.
No, it was actually me wearing my Rams quarter zip because I found out that he's actually a 49ers fan, which, again, is terrible. I'm sad that he made that choice.
Hey, the Rams
being
did that
an
to
LA
themselves.
guy.
The Rams did it to themselves.
Here we go. This is how we started.
We looked this up last week. Like, the Rams left LA when he was like 6. So, he grew up in LA as a generation of fans grew up in this town with an NFL that abandoned them, like straight up abandoned them. So, yeah, man. That's why lots of people in this town aren't Rams fans. Like, it's coming back. It's changing. The fact that they're back and they're successful helps. But, like, let's not pretend that, as Adam Rank once said, the Rams went out for cigarettes and never came back. So, yeah, a lot of people in this town are not Rams fans. So,
no loyalty.
Don't blame it. Why would it be loyal to a team that left me? Don't blame it on Shia. Blame it on Georgia Frontieri and the ownership group that left them behind.
Look, there's plenty you could blame on him, but not his fandom.
But not that. Not that.
I'm pretty sure he would probably be better off in a different timeline as a Rams fan rather than displaying everything that, the 49ers are. But here we are.
All right, man.
Great show. Great to have you guys, back all in one, because it was just me and Marcas on the Tuesday show, and then it was just you and Florio on the Thursday show. So I'm glad that we're all back, man.
Been a minute.
Oh, all right. We're going through our divisional sort of free agency primers where we talk about cap space and needs. I think that it continues to be a truism is that when you go through needs for all these teams, wide receiver keeps popping up all the time. It's just wide receiver. So we'll talk about that. But we do have some news headlines to get to. A big thing that broke yesterday that the Lions are moving on from David Montgomery. I don't know that that's a huge surprise. I know that Montgomery himself was sort of looking for greener pastures, understanding that this was an offense that was pivoting heavily toward Jahmyr Gibbs and looking for an opportunity to get a chance to play. So they have sent him to the Houston Texans in exchange for an offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs, and multiple draft picks. I guess the first question about this, Florio, is what is David Montgomery's value now that he is in Houston?
So I put this out on Twitter yesterday. I was like, look, I think he's an RB2 because, for one, I don't understand what Houston is doing where they're like, hey, every good offensive lineman we have would look better on another team. I don't get it, but that's their prerogative. I think they're going to attack it heavy in the draft. That seems to be what their plan is here. But I think he's an RB2 because last year Houston ran the ball about league average. I think they want to run more than that. I think the reason it was league average, the run rate, is because of who their personnel was. Like, Woody Marks was solid, but he wasn't great. Nick Chubb was way past his prime. So I don't think they really, and then after that, they were cycling through backups at one point in the season. So I don't think they really ever had someone that they felt fully comfortable in, which I think David Montgomery could be that for them. I posted that I think he's an RB2 who could volume and touchdown his way into an RB1 finish any week. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he finished like as a low end RB1, maybe high end RB2 on the year, just because we see guys do this, right? Like, I don't think he'll be at the end of the season someone that you're like, man, he was one of the 12 best running backs in fantasy. But We weren't saying that about Javonte Williams this year, and he finished top 12. Right. You know, every year there are running backs that finish top 12, top 15 that aren't that all year because of just they get so much volume and they get a lot of touchdowns. And I think that could be Monty. I think he's more of a more weeks we'll see a safe floor, but I do think there'll be those games where he scores 2 touchdowns or something like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year, we're looking at him with something like 12 touchdowns or something like that. And if he does that, he's probably going to finish higher than you have to draft him. But it doesn't necessarily mean I'm valuing him as that. I just think that is in his possible outcomes.
I mean, yeah, I've been a big David Montgomery fan for a while, the last couple of years especially. Last year I was sort of out because I felt like the Jahmyr Gibbs, heavy usage thing was coming, and it sort of did. Even then, though, I mean, Montgomery still had 8 rushing touchdowns, had over 700 yards. I think for where he was priced in drafts, I think he gave you a pretty good return. But I do wonder, Laquan, with him now in Houston, one, does he go back to getting 200 carries, which is where he was during his Chicago days and even that first year in Detroit before, Jahmyr Gibbs really kind of took over? Does he go back to getting 200 carries? And the question I was going to ask is, does that mean R.I.P. Joe Mixon? But I guess I can also add, does that mean R.I.P. Woody Marks too?
I do think he gets back to that 200, touch mark, being that he still feels as though he has the juice. And some of the clips that we just played on the shows, you can see that he still has the ability to take it to the house if given an opportunity. What happened is when Dan Campbell took over, we didn't see Monty anymore. Yeah. These last 2 seasons, we just seen his role just kind of just decrease. And when Dan Campbell took over, he only had 34% of the snaps. So it's like you go from an RB2 and a 1-2 punch to basically an RB3 as a rotational player, where Gibbs was playing the 1 and 2 at that point, where he was taking on the full workload. Now in Houston, it's like, yeah, we can bank on Monty getting the volume. But in the last year, the Texans have traded away 5 offensive linemen. How are we possibly?
Is that bad?
That is hard. What are they doing? What is happening? And when you look at Titus Howard coming off of one of his best seasons, right? He allowed the fewest QB pressures among tackles. Who is protecting CJ Stroud? What run game is going to actually give you quality production? And I hate that Monty's going to a situation where it's like, now I'm going into a backfield that has a Woody Marks, and again, we don't know what Joe Mixon is doing or where he's at, but I do think that we still see a sprinkle of Woody Marks, but not enough for fantasy relevance to be in the starting lineup. But with Monty, all we're banking to this, that we're trying to paint this picture that he could be an RB2 or RB1 some weeks, it's just purely volume. So it's like, I don't know what we're going to get out of this Texans offense next year, being that we don't even know what they're doing with the offensive line, because each and every single time I look up on the timeline, the Texans are trading an offensive lineman. For what? It's not like you have anybody protecting CJ when we know that is the biggest issue. And on top of that, their run game was middle of the pack last year. It wasn't anything sexy. And I know you guys remember each and every week we're trying to figure out, is it Nick Chubb? Is it Woody Marks? Is it Nick Chubb? Woody Marks, Nick Chubb? They don't have a consistent run game that I feel like I'm happy that David Montgomery landed here. So we'll just have to figure it out.
I think last year, though, was very circumstantial, right? Woody Marks and Nick Chubb were supposed to both be backups. They thought Joe Mixon was still their guy. And Joe Mixon had 300 opportunities in 2024. So I think they wanted someone to come in and be like, we know game to game you could get this, like they had with Mixon 2 years ago. The O-line, yeah, it's atrocious. But we got to judge it after the next 2 months, I think. Because they're going to they have 4 O-linemen on the roster. They're going to add a lot of bodies there.
Through the draft, hopefully. They have no money. They're over the cap. What are they doing?
We will get to them in a little bit later in the show. It's funny you talk about, we don't know what Joe Mixon is doing. The Texans don't seem to know what Joe Mixon is doing.
I think this indicates that they know what's going on.
And that they knew all along.
Maybe they do. I think it's weird, though, when, you got Texans people at the combine saying stuff like, we think he had surgery this offseason? Wait, you think? You're not sure? I don't know. You break off a text
still
message?
don't know if he did or not. That's what's even crazier.
Yeah, just it's so weird about that. All right. So, guys, and Florio, you can start. But you're on the clock, and you're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs versus Bijan Robinson. I think I know which way you're going to go, but say it out loud for the folks.
I don't know which way, because I've gone back and forth. As of today, I'm going to, March 3rd, I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
Was that who you thought?
Actually, no. I thought I was going to go Bijan.
So I think it could. I was Bijan previously because I was like Tyler Algier is a free agent. David Montgomery is still there. It could swing back to Bijan for me. And it's one of those situations where if I'm in 2 leagues with the number 1 pick, I'll split the difference, right? And I'll take each of them because I do think it is that close. And if you look like last season, they finished less than 4 fantasy points apart. I believe the year before that was something extremely close as well. It was 20 points that year. But like, yeah, these two and their rookie year, they were basically they're identical almost fantasy wise since they've entered the league. But the reason I'm going Gibbs is because I know who his quarterback is. I know what that offense looks like and all of that. But if the Falcons go out and have a really good free agency and draft period and it also is going to depend on, because yesterday I tweeted out that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the 1.01 in a lot of leagues, and I think a top 3 universal pick along with Bijan and Puka. And everyone was like, they're going to add another running back. And I'm like, yes, of course they are. So is Atlanta. We're using the information that we have at our disposal right now. But on top of that, I don't see a world where they bring in a back better than David Montgomery. Right? Like, why would you have I know he wanted to leave and stuff, but why would you have phased him out previously if you were planning on getting someone even better? So I do think we're going to get a year where it's Bijan and Gibbs, just like we're going to see finally what they could be with the full allotment of snaps and workload and all of that. And to me, it just feels so right that we're going to have a full summer of these two being debated, because I think they are going to be tied together for the rest of their lives, going back to their draft year.
Yeah.
All right, Laquan, the Gibbs or Bijan?
I might wake up tomorrow and draft Bijan, and then I might wake up the next day and draft Gibbs. I mean, if I'm in multiple leagues, as we all are, and I have the number 1 pick, I will probably just split it up because, again, you could really flip a coin. Both of these guys are going to catch 75 passes. That's what's not being talked about either. And guys, they're both explosive. Both have home run hitters. So I'm looking at this as like flip a coin. Not really much of a debate or an argument. Like if you're getting blue in the face, like no Gibbs, no, Bijan, you're crazy. They're both amazing running backs. They're both RB1. So I really don't have like a preference if I'm going to be heavy on Bijan or Gibbs, because both of these players are going to be amazing for fantasy. And again, I like the debates. I like, saying who's 101 and all that stuff. It does not matter in this case. Like it really doesn't.
It's Puka for you.
Yeah, it's Puka for you, but like
103. Chill out.
I was gonna say, let's say you're in your home league and all your friends know how much you love Puka, so somebody jumps up and takes him at 101. Yeah.
I haven't drafted a Rams player in my home league with all my friends in high school for years because they take him. I couldn't even get Greg Zuerlein, and he was gone in like the 9th round. Seriously, it's insane.
Tutu or someone just to have a Ram.
I just can't. They know it.
When you're taking Harrison Mevis in the 3rd round just so you can have a Ram on your roster. That sort of thing.
Oh, my God.
It'd be wild. Yeah, I mean, I think the appropriate response is if you say, hey, do you want, Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson? And somebody says, Gibbs, you're like, all right, cool. Or if they say Robinson, you're like, all right, cool. I mean, I feel like
you want to be picked 2 in that scenario.
That is, right?
It gets made for you, you don't got to decide.
Yeah, I totally would have taken that other guy, but he was gone. Sorry, that's all I could do. No, that absolutely is probably the best way to go. We sort of knew this was coming, but it seems to be happening anyway. This was at least the initial report per former, I guess soon to be again, colleague, Peter Schrager, that the Jets are going to place the franchise tag on Breece Hall. We saw that sort of coming previously. We had heard about it. I mean, guys, I know we're all sort of disheartened, disgusted, disappointed, disgruntled, discombobulated. I'm trying to come up with other words that sort of fit this category. All right, so Laquan, where are we drafting Breece at this point? I mean, 3rd round? Anywhere before the 3rd round?
I mean, I can see him going early third round or even somewhere in the second round because I still think he's an RB1. He's still going to be able to go out there, catch a bunch of passes because, again, this is still the Jets offense. His identity is to be contributing in the passing game, be one of the best, most electric, players that they have on that offense. Outside of Garrett Wilson, he's still one of the main honchos of that offense that's going to see a ton of touches. So I could see him sneaking in that back end of the second round. It's not sexy. You don't like it. But again, he's tagged. He's paid this year. He's going to have to play at a top level if another team is want to extend him and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think this will be a year that we get the worst version of Breece Hall outside of injury, et cetera. So again, I hate the situation that he's in. I hate when players are tagged. And again, we have this on the hate list of things that we do in this sport. But again, I feel like Breece Hall is still that RB1 that can contribute each and every week to a fantasy team, and you'll be happy with the points. But if he falls to the third round, let's say you take a Jonathan Taylor or a Derrick Henry, you're getting a great combination of running backs there that I think Breece Hall will forever be in that category as an RB1.
Are you taking Derrick Henry over Breece Hall? I guess probably, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm probably pushing Breece Hall closer to RB20 than I am top 12. Personally.
I think that's no, but I think that's fair, right? Because I mean, look, if our argument for Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan Robinson, granted, I know it's a different situation. Both guys they're I think more talented and in better spots. But if part of the argument is I know who Jahmyr Gibbs' quarterback is going to be, well, that very much applies to Breece Hall, and probably even more so in a bad offense. Regardless of who the Falcons quarterback is at the start of the year, I at least believe Kevin Stefanski can draw up something that gets his running back touches and puts him in space. Not only do the Jets not have a quarterback, I don't have faith in their coaching staff either.
Exactly.
So it's all bad. So I haven't really looked at the rankings, but I could believe that. I mean,
because I had Breece. I traded for Breece in a league last year in the middle of the league season, and down the stretch, he was a flex option for me. Where I was like, he's not a guarantee. Granted, my team was pretty stacked, so I had other good options that I like. I know, not everyone that had Breece Hall had that ability, but I wrote him as a sit and sit him some weeks, and it's not his fault. It's because game script is always going to be against him. We don't know what this offense is going to look like. And remember what it looked like when Garrett Wilson went down. Teams were just there was the one game where late in the fourth quarter, he broke out a 60-yard touchdown run. And before that, he had 2 fantasy points or something. So I don't think it's a Breece Hall issue at all. In fact, it's why we all wanted Breece freed. It's why Breece wanted to be free. But I just think the possibility of the Jets starting off slowly, firing Aaron Glenn, and then this just bottoming out and being disgustingly bad is pretty high. So I'd rather take I would take Derrick Henry. Depends where Kenneth Walker ends up. Jeremiah Love, there's options that I just feel better about than Breece Hall, and it's solely because of the Jets. I've chased the talented players on the Jets the last couple of years, and it's just not fun week to week. I think it's one of those things, though. It's one of those things at the end of the year. I think you look at the stats and you're like, oh, Breece was pretty good, but if you had him, it kind of it's not fun.
Yeah, I think I'm not drafting any Jets. I mean, there's only 2 real options of Jets you're going to draft anyway. I don't think. I'm
what if it's Malik Willis?
No, Florio already said he's going to be down on Malik Willis if he goes to the Jets. It's going to take some of the steam.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
We don't need that in our division. We don't need them to be competitive.
Are you really not scared of Malik Willis? I'm
scared of Mike LaFleur.
Rams are afraid of Malik Willis?
Listen, we don't need them making any noise in the division. We already got the Sea Chickens to deal with, okay? I don't need another NFC West team getting better.
I think Malik Willis is an interesting, he's a fascination, but I don't think Malik Willis I don't know, dude's got 6 career starts, right? Like, I don't think he's suddenly the guy who turns a team around. Like, he's not going to make the Cardinals a threat necessarily, not by himself.
Yeah. Yesterday I was on Insiders. I was like, I think he could be like Kyler Murray, maybe with some more upside. But like, I think that's kind of what you're a younger, more upside Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't know.
Less floor.
The combine has come and gone for yet another year. Everyone's really fast. That's the takeaway I got, that everyone is fast. I saw something that every position group, I think as a group, ran the fastest 40 time in the history of the combine, and that a lot of the high jump, the broad jump, a lot of those, every position group was either first or second overall in top scores for the history of the combine, but they were all like really low when it comes to like the shuttle time. So like the agility drills, they didn't really do well in. I don't know. I don't have any other real big takeaways other than we've reached a point where a lot of guys tend to opt out on like the running portion of the combine, and the guys who seem to do it, they do well because they spend so much time training and preparing for it. Other than that, guys, I think I'm just going to go back and watch tape. Some of these players.
I was about to say, I feel like it's the worst time of the year. I'm going to say it because the timelines are arguing over milliseconds between Carnell Tate and all these other players. And, you see some guys rise their stock, but it's like, okay, he ran fast. We've seen fast players kind of fall off and not be mentioned ever again. And some of these guys don't even end up being fantasy relevant. So I feel as though these guys should be doing it in pads. Pad up. Let me see this. I don't
want to take credit for it. I think it was Scott Barrett. I could be wrong. I saw someone tweet something the other day, and I'm trying to check if it was him. It was Scott Barrett. So he tweeted about how I think in the 30th fastest wide receiver 40 combine times ever, there's been 1,000-yard season.
Yeah. I mean, I think what happens is, one, it is, I think, an undeniable fact that players are just faster as a group, right? Like training methods are better. Players see these and try to like hit these benchmarks, but fast doesn't always equal good. Means fast.
You guys want to guess who the 1,000-yard? It goes back to 2000.
So the top,
it's hard.
Tyreek?
No. Well, I guess.
Well, I don't know if he ran. I don't know if he went to the combine. He was such a small school guy.
I'm going based off of his info.
I'm sitting. We can sit here guessing all day. Who is it?
Santana Moss.
Oh. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have gotten that.
No, I would have not gotten that.
It's filled with names, though, Andy Isabella, Xavier Worthy, John Ross, Henry Ruggs, like Tyquan Thornton, Matthew Golden, Darius Hayward-Bay, all these players that Curtis Samuel that we were once excited for in fantasy that have just burned us.
But here's the thing. This is time of the season where, the draft analysts and all the, hoopla and stuff, this is where most fantasy players get sucked in, roped in, and then punched in the face when they draft these guys higher than when they should be. Because, again, we sat on this same pod thinking like, oh, Matthew Golden's pretty fast. But then he gets drafted to the Packers. Part of the musical chairs and rotations of the wide receivers. One fantasy relevant week, folks. Like, this is why I do not pay attention to anything of any hoopla on the timeline until these guys have landing spots. Because, again, back to my Caleb Johnson take, before he was even drafted anywhere, I was completely bored of his highlight tape. I put my kids to sleep with it. And what happened? Where's the hype? The draft analyst, he's a top 3 running back prospect. He's not even top 3 on his team. I'm sorry, I'm just going on the rant right now.
No, I get it.
It's the worst time of the year. It's the worst time.
We are guilty of this too, right? Like the content beast must be fed continually. I understand that.
I'm sweating. I'm still sick, by the way.
I say this. I say this at least once a year. I think we would all, as media people, as content creators, as fans, as observers, I think we would all benefit if sometimes we all, as a group, just STFU for a month or so. Right.
Just completely black out.
Just stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this is what happens though. We get to a point where, we always have something that we've got to talk about or write about or pod about. And so then we end up holding on to these little tiny bits of information, and they all sort of, we kind of accumulate them and to try to create meaning out of it. And it doesn't always work out that way. Whereas if we just all decided, and it'll never happen because it generates too much money for too many people that aren't us. If we all decided to just stop and walk away and then come back and, hey, let's, now that we have all this information, right? Now that we've been gone for a month, 6 weeks, and we have all this information, we can sift through what's actually important versus what isn't important. And then we can start talking about these guys again. But now, because every single day we've got to keep doing things, that's why you start arguing over hundredths of a second. Yeah, I know I'm doing the punching thing with my hands. I did. We start arguing over hundredths of a second in the 40 time. It's why when everybody, it's why we see these slow-mo video of a dude in shorts doing the ladder drill. We get all geeked out because every single day we've got to find something to talk about when, like, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I think we'd all benefit from just shutting the bleep up for a month, but it's just...
It gets worse in, like, June, man, where all we have
there's even less to talk about then.
All we have is what beat reporters are, like, hearing and stuff, and they do a great job. I'm not saying they don't. But a lot of the times teams tell themselves they think what they see is bigger, and then everyone runs with it and it becomes a narrative. That's my least favorite time of the time.
There's definitely
we had the film festival in June, so we'll be
I do enjoy that.
occupied.
There's definitely a cohort out there who get used to sort of launder stories, whether it's from front offices or agents. There's some people that is kind of their job, and that sort of feeds the hype machine as well. All right, that's my old man yelling at cloud story of the day. We are diving into the AFC and NFC South as we get a little bit closer to free agency. In fact, I believe this time next week, you can legally tamper with players.
Yay!
I know that's not the phrase that the league office likes, but that's what it is. So that's what we're going to go with. His mama named him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. Over to the AFC South in reverse order of finish. You got the Titans, the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars. The Titans.
Why'd you say it like that?
The Jaguars? When you say the Jaguars, like, I'm not British, so the I don't know.
Tom P says it funny too.
You say the Jaguar. I know some people say Jaguars. I hear a lot of
the Jaguars. Jaguars.
No, that would be like Jaguars. That would be like flipping the A and the U there.
I think in Duval they say Jaguars.
Yeah.
And in London, they pronounce it completely different.
The Jags. I was about to say, let's go Jags.
No, it's Jaguar in London.
Jaguar.
Like the car, the Jaguar. Anyway, the Titans. They need wide receivers. As we've talked about this before, right? Yes, what they got out of Io Manor and DK was nice, but those were also 2 day 3 wide receivers. And so the burden of expectation on what they would produce was fairly low. And I think they even in some cases exceeded the expectations for what you could get from them. Can they, Laquan, change their reputation as the rest home for wide receivers? Like, is there somebody they can go after in free agency? They've got $90 million to spend. I think they got the most money of anybody to spend right now. Can they change that reputation of being a rest home for wideouts?
If they bring AJ Brown home, would that count, or would it just be like, I'm returning back? Like, I think that would be the play, but we know that's probably not going to happen. But I'm not quite sure. Like, I feel like that's what the stigma is. Like, it's kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised if they went out and got a Mike Evans, and like, it would change the whole dynamic of that offense, but it would keep the retirement home lore, like, I guess. But I do think they have options, with the Wan'Dale Robinson, which is rumored he's connected, obviously, with the relationship with Brian Daboll. I don't know if that changes the whole offense. I don't know if that is enough, because like you said, I mean, like, Io Manor and DK, like, there's not, anything else. They can't go further down, in expectations. Like, it's only up at this point. But again, like, they have all this money and they have draft capital. I think that obviously wide receiver is the biggest need. Like, they need to move some pieces to get, to be able to get some guys that want to play there as well. And like, again, I honestly think you should have put running back here as well. I mean, how much is left in Tony Pollard?
I did toy with that idea. Like,
yeah. I mean, Tajay Spears, like, I know he was banged up last year, but like, is this really moving the needle for the run game as well? Like, I think Cam Ward needs as much pieces around him as possible, especially with $90 million in cap.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Evans, he's obviously the big free agent prize at wide receiver. And I know he has said he's going to sort of give all 32 teams a look, right? That everybody's going to have a shot. That feels a little bit like posturing. I'm sure there's some teams out there where he's like, hell to the no. I'm not doing that.
He has a big checklist of things he wants.
Yeah. So that obviously is going to start narrowing things down for him a little bit.
Like,
so,
he's not a wide receiver 2 to anybody. So like, I would say, there's a lot of teams he can already just like, yep, not doing it.
Well, and it's also, how much look, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants a shot at a Super Bowl, but he has a Super Bowl ring. So it's not as though he's out there just chasing a chance to get a championship.
That was one of his 4 things, though.
I'm sure it was. No, I don't think he's going to go. He's not going to just fully get a bag and go to a terrible team, right? Like, he's not going to,
If that was the case, go to Cleveland.
I was going to say, if the Raiders decided to just like give him like several casinos or something like that, like, he's not just going to go there just because of that. Cause like, sure, it'll be Caesar's Evans Palace or something like that. But like, it's not going to help you win anything.
No.
But I'm trying to go through this list of free agent wide receivers and try to find somebody who could be a fit for the Titans.
Juwan Jennings, possession guy, move the chains.
Yeah.
Dobbs. I think Romeo Dobbs would be a really good fit. Yeah. Alec Pierce. I think
could be a fit.
I think you need to throw multiple darts, right? Obviously, you want to hit one of the big names and get like a stud. But there's a lot of talent in the draft as well. So whether you draft one and sign one, they have all their picks. They have at least their early round picks, and they're 4th, I believe. They have the most money. Follow what you guys. I've said it a lot on the show. The Titans are a team that I'm highly invested in this offseason because I think they can quickly turn it around. And follow what the Patriots did. Like, spend that money on getting a couple receivers and increase the protection in front of Cam Ward. And then I think the rest is going to go to Saleh and the defense. But like, if you could build the O-line up and add a couple of reliable pass catchers here, I think Cam Ward could take that next step. And then I think the Titans could, again, I'm not saying they're going to be in the Super Bowl next year like the Patriots, but I think they could be a team that like surprises a lot of people next season.
I mean, I think so. And I think look at the division. I mean, it's not the greatest division, now. The Jags it's getting tougher. The Jaguars are a nice story, but history has shown us that the Jaguars also struggle to maintain consistency. The Texans are sort of just like, who knows? I mean, they have pieces, but can they put it together on a regular basis? So, stranger things have happened than a team like the Titans suddenly getting their way into playoff contention, especially in a division such as the AFC South. That gets us to the Colts, who started the year hot. And to Florio's credit, you never believed. You never really bought in. I know you took a lot of heat for that, especially like from the insiders, for saying that you didn't necessarily believe. But in the end, it sort of worked out, especially with Daniel Jones getting hurt.
He hired an Etsy witch.
Look,
whatever it takes, baby.
The assumption is Daniel Jones will be back. The Colts have said they don't want to have to franchise tag him. They'd rather come to an agreement. But I think everybody believes Daniel Jones is coming back to be the starter in Indianapolis. We'll see what happens with Anthony
Riley
Richardson.
Leonard.
Why are you so big on Riley? Explain to me why you're so big on Riley Leonard.
One, because he can run. He had 700 yards in his last year of college. The boy can run, and I honestly think that's the DNA that they're looking for. Same as Daniel Jones. Like, again, Riley Leonard can play. We saw him play in that Jags game. Yes, he can play. I know you guys last pod were writing him off. Yeah, the listeners let me know. Our Australian brothers were letting me know.
I mean, you'd have asked us. Like, we ain't hiding. Like,
There's a difference, between coming in and playing well in a spot start and doing it over.
Give him a shot, an opportunity.
I think the Colts have too much talent to go be like, we're handing this over to Riley Leonard.
Bro, it's clear he's better than Anthony Richardson.
Is he better?
Yo, chill out. Nobody wants to go there.
Anthony Richardson.
I mean, they think so.
I just don't. There's a reason he lasted until the 6th round.
I mean,
there's a reason he lasted until the 6th round.
He got drafted. Some guys don't get drafted.
I mean, all right, if that's the case, then why don't you make Stetson Bennett your quarterback?
Hey, yo, chill out. We've already spoken about this.
I'm just saying,
he's not ready.
If he got drafted,
he'll be 40.
He's not ready.
By the time he's ready.
He's almost in the retirement home.
I don't understand. I just don't understand your Riley Leonard love. But anyway, that's not really a need for the Colts right now. Obviously, they've got a running back. Alec Pierce is the thing that keeps popping up, right? And we keep trying to project him to other places. If you're the Colts, does it make sense, Florio, to maybe overpay for Alec Pierce just to keep him around there in that offense?
The Daniel Jones franchise tag or not, I think is actually one of the biggest stories heading up to the franchise tag deadline, because if they have to use it on Daniel Jones, then Alec Pierce is free. Because I believe if Daniel Jones is like, you don't have to use it on me, like I'm definitely signing here, we'll come to an agreement. They're going to franchise tag Alec Pierce because I think Mike Evans is the crown jewel for teams like, the Bills, the Ravens, teams that think they are Super Bowl contenders right now. But I think if you're a team with a bigger bag, Alec Pierce is your guy because he's going to get more years. And I think Alec Pierce could be quickly become the best wide receiver of this free agency class. Like, we obviously know what he could do as a field stretcher, but I think he could be even more than the Colts have used him as. The Colts are a really weird team, though, because you could say they need wide receiver, but only if they lose Alec Pierce. Because if they have him, then they have 3. They might have to move on from Pittman. They might draft a receiver. But I look at their offense and I'm like, they got a good O-line. They got a good tight end. They got a great running back. And if it depends on what happens with Pierce or not, right? But they're set at receiver, I would say, on paper, at least, if he is still back there. So I do think it makes sense if you're Indy to be like, why are we going to let this guy go? But they can't franchise him. Then it becomes like, do we have enough money? Are we going to be able to do this? Do we have to trade Pittman? So it's a huge story, but I'm hoping he hits the open market just because I like chaos.
I have a question, though.
Sure.
Because, if they transition tag Daniel Jones, can they franchise tag Alec Pierce? Because I know that's a lot of money, but either way, you're going to be paying up for Pierce to stay. So I wonder if that's able to happen. Because that's what he's being linked to, that Daniel Jones might get the transition tag. It's cheaper and there's, less risk. So I think, obviously, you need Alec Pierce in-house. They cannot do both. All right. So,
I don't... Yeah, and I also don't know if you're the Colts, if you want to do that,
But why let your most productive wide receiver leave? He's the only one that cleared 1,000 yards with less than 50 catches, by the way. So it's
he did on 84 targets. Crazy.
You're gonna keep a 29-year-old quarterback coming back from an Achilles, which we've seen again as the kiss of death for quarterbacks. I don't understand it, because you're going to get Daniel Jones less mobile, which is part of his utility belt that makes him great. And he's coming back from injury where, again, you don't even know the exact timeline that he's going to be back to full health to be able to contribute in camp. This just seems like a no-brainer that you keep Pierce.
Can I be the negative?
And Riley Leonard Cook. Let's go.
They're trying to win a division, man. Why you're not going to throw Riley Leonard in there, man? Just stop.
Daniel Jones was he started the year hot, right? He was there when they started free fall. They lost 4 of his last 5 starts. He was there when the free fall started.
He was starting to Daniel Jones before he got hurt. He was Daniel Jonesing.
Yeah, you look at his game logs and it's he's serviceable, he's solid, but it's not like we've ever seen a team give Daniel Jones the bag before and then immediately regret it.
That's part of why he's in Indianapolis right now.
I think Daniel Jones is the right quarterback for last year's situation with the Colts, right? Where they gave him $17 million or something like that. It was. I say this a lot in the pod. I think it's a mistake when teams are like, well, this quarterback, we got to give him the $40+ million. Like, not every quarterback that becomes a free agent deserves that kind of bag.
I think the mistake would be, obviously you're not going to put him up there in the upper echelons of quarterbacks, right, in terms of salary. But I think the mistake is when a quarterback hits free agency, teams and a lot of folks just as observers say, well, this is just what the market says, so he gets this much because this guy got X amount. And I think that part is wrong, and that part leads you to overpaying for quarterbacks a little bit. But I do think if you're the Colts, you have to look around and say, okay, Daniel Jones, obviously not the perfect fit, but the question you always have to ask yourself is, can we easily get somebody as good or better than Daniel Jones? And
another Jones.
And I think when Mac? Yeah, except, again, but then the asking price is a lot because the Niners have pretty much said they are really open to trading Mac Jones.
They want a first-round pick for him. The Niners are terrible.
Dude,
why?
The Bears want a second-round pick for Tyson Bagent. Like, if you're asking me if I got to give up a 2 to get Tyson
crazy.
Bagent, I would much rather give you a 1 for Mac Jones and give you a 2 for Tyson Bagent.
That's a crazy price tag.
It's nice to watch,
though. Right? We live in a world where apparently, allegedly, there's a market for Andy Dalton. A trademark. I mean, I think, again,
the Jets.
If he's going to stand behind a microphone and just say words, like you could say anything. I could be like, hey, man, I'm better than Victor Wembanyama at basketball. Like, I can just say things, but, like, this is the world we live in now. Right?
I actually, as I was thinking about it, I actually think if I'm the Colts, I would rather give Alec Pierce a bag, like multi-years, give him a bunch of money, and franchise Daniel Jones. Because I want to be like, Daniel Jones, do it again. Prove to us that you're the same guy before you tore your Achilles. Prove to us that the free fall at the end of the year wasn't you becoming a pumpkin again. And then maybe we could talk long-term deal.
Yeah, I think that's
a lot of money.
That's reasonable, though. But I do think that's reasonable. Texans, they need offensive line help because, as we talked about, they
period.
I mean, they're like, hey, man, this guy's great. You want him? Like, me, they really are. That's kind of how they seem to operate. But do they still need running back help? Obviously, they trade for David Montgomery. They got Woody Marks there. I think, I don't know. I hate to say this, but I think we've seen the last of Nick Chubb as an NFL running back, unfortunately.
He'll probably be in Denver, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is. Somebody will sign him for like the minimum or
the Chargers,
a supporting role or something like that. But do they have enough, Florio, in the backfield? Is the combination of Montgomery and Marks enough for this team? And not that they got to spend big, but like getting kind of a lower end running back piece. Is that something that's worthwhile?
That's what I was going to say. I don't know who exactly there's names out there, right? Like, I mean, maybe I think Rico Dowdle might get more than they're willing to pay, but Rashad White seems like he's going to Washington. But yeah, like you're not going to be in the Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker sweepstakes. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if, Kenneth Gainwell is an interesting one potentially.
Gainwell, yeah. But
I don't know, again, when you get deeper, it can go either way. But like, I think you need to add another body there because Woody Marks, every game, it felt like every other quarter, he was like,
but
is he going to come back? Yeah. And then like he'd come back out of the locker room a couple snaps later. So like, I think you need to add, and I think you need to add someone like Sean Tucker being a restricted free agent. I don't know if the Bucs let him leave, but he's someone that I think could be a really good fit because while Monty could handle all the volume and he could still, he's like a doubles hitter. He's not going to hit those breakaway runs anymore, but he could put up chunk plays. I think you need a little bit of speed back there to just speed to add to that backfield.
Yeah. I don't think whoever they add is going to be a game changer. Like, I don't think it's going to be a guy that we're seriously talking about in August about, hey, you got to draft this guy. But I do think they've got to figure something else out.
Will that player have its own day in like May or June on fantasy Twitter?
Probably. We're going to wake up and, again, because out here on the West Coast, we'll wake up and the conversation will have been going for a couple of hours already. And so, like,
Laquan starts
3 hours.
We will. Yeah, it's true. You do start it because you're up early enough.
What?
You're up at like 1 a.m. So you're the one. I said that should be your thing.
So
you should always declare what player's day
You know
is.
what? When I wake up on a random, Tuesday in July, and I'm wondering why in the world everybody's talking so much about Amir Abdullah, I'm just gonna text you, Laquan. Like, what did you start? Yeah. What did you?
You legitimately every day you wake up should be like, today is
right
Jaleel McLaughlin Day.
I'm choosing running back violence today. Like that should be your thing.
It has to be an RB3.
By the way, what I failed to mention is that the I forgot. You almost slipped that by me. What I failed to mention in this whole thing is that the Texans are also nearly $12 million over the cap. So
don't worry, they get rid of another offensive lineman.
We have a lot of offensive line needs, and we don't have any money. And we kind of have a mid to late round pick. So
I got a question. I know they drafted 2 wide receivers last year. Do they need wide receiver help too? Because they're losing Christian Kirk.
I think they do.
And I think he's their most veteran, productive outside of Nico.
Tank is coming back, but I don't think you should rely on that.
Yeah, I was about to say that I need to see. I need to see that at game speed. Because
there's going to 1,000% be a Tank Dell day soon, though, because he's already working out and doing like shirtless videos and stuff. Like that's coming. But get ready for it. You could declare that
workout video. You can see the difference in his leg and like size, and like he's still walking funny. Like I don't know if we get that speedster that we saw. Like that's going to be sad to see. But I'm praying that he gets back to form though, because I have a lot of him in Dynasty.
The Jaguars have about $16 million to spend. I assume they're bringing back Travis Etienne, right? Even though I would like to see him go somewhere else to a team that maybe likes him, because the Jaguars keep trying to replace him all the time.
He's leaving.
You think so?
Right? That's what I've been seeing.
So then
I think they drafted Tootin to be the replacement a year later.
And then they draft another back this year.
Yeah.
So they can start trying to replace Bashaw Tootin?
Yeah.
So it's going to be Tootin and LaQuint Allen, which we know which one Laquan is drafting.
If you got a capital Q in your name, I'm automatically rooting for you. And if your last name's Jones, I most likely love you.
LQJ from Jersey. LQA a lot this summer. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's do it.
You got to ask him if it's Taylor Ham or pork roll to really.
Yeah. You know, which one is it, Florio?
I mean, when he starts eating pork rolls.
Yes, that's my guy. You're invited.
I always get it wrong.
You Californian.
I always get it wrong.
I swear you do it on purpose. Never. Stop. This is not a Taylor Ham pod. Stop. Come on.
NFL Fantasy Football Show brought to you by Pork Roll.
By Taylor Ham. I just want to throw the argument. I just want to throw the argument grenade and just walk away from it.
Disgusting.
All right. That's the AFC South. Take a break. Come back. We'll go through the NFC South, which has some shocking. A lot of teams there need wide receiver help. Went through the AFC South. That will do the NFC South in reverse order of finish. You have the Saints, the Falcons, the Bucks, and the Panthers. I do love that the division basically came down to a game between a couple of teams that weren't involved in the division, because why not with the NFC South? It's wacky, so they deserve a wacky ending. Saints, they are $44 million over the cap. They are the case study in just sort of kicking the can down the road, right? And trying to put Band-Aids over the whole thing. And then eventually the bill comes due and they are not good. Side note to all of this, I know you're going to be surprised about this, but it appears that there are no Super Bowl contenders that are interested in trading for Derek Carr.
Oh, man.
Are we really surprised though? Oh my God.
No, we're not. But he said he was going to come out. He would come out of retirement if the situation was right, if there was a contender that was interested. The Saints do still actually have his contract rights, so they would have to trade him. And it does not appear that there are any takers.
You know what's really sad? I'm looking at the Saints Our Lads page, and they have one offensive starter who is a free agent, but you would think that they had all of them, because it is bad. Like, after Chris Olave, their wide receivers are Mason Tipton and Devon Vele. Like,
hey, Devon Vele is serviceable,
solid, but
don't do that.
As your number 2 pass catcher?
Yeah,
it all thins out very quick around.
Jalen Polk. He's there. He's like third or fourth on the depth chart.
Jalen Polk being already on a second team is probably a bad sign.
He caught that touchdown though.
They got
when he was a Patriot.
Bummies.
Okay.
Is that a real person?
Where's an android?
So again, the Saints, they have a need, obviously, at wide receiver. They have a lot of needs, right? Because, I don't know if Kendre Miller's ever really going to happen in a big way. Alvin Kamara, we thank you for your service, but your best days are long behind you. But wide receiver is definitely a need. Although you said you ran into Chris Olave when you were in New Orleans, Laquan, and you mentioned a free agent wide receiver, and he kind of made a stank face at you.
Yeah, it was like, nah. Like, I wanted Romeo Doubs to go there. Like, we've been projecting Romeo Doubs to a lot of these teams, but I think Chris Olave just wants to remain the guy. But I do think
does he have secret beef with Romeo Doubs that we don't know about?
Exactly. I should have just peeling back that layer to see more. But nah, it was cool to chop it up with him and just talk ball and him and his connection with Tyler Shuck. And he basically went on to say, Spencer Rattler, he can play. It's just that Tyler Shuck is taller and he's able to see the field a little bit different from, a different lens. So I think, honestly, he just wants to remain the guy, as selfish that sounds, but he's a wide receiver. They all want the ball at all times.
Yeah, but they need somebody. I mean, I was going to say that's a place where Mike Evans could go, but one, that would go bad. That would go bad in his return to Tampa. But
the
also,
city of New Orleans,
they are not a contender. They are not a contender right now.
I would be surprised they draft a wide receiver and
I almost think they have to.
In position to get a big one, to say the least. I mean, a Cardinal Tate there would be wildly disgusting. I would love to see Tyler Shuck and him cook. Or, I mean, they can even get in the bag of Casey Concepcion. Some of these wide receivers in this draft could be a nice two to Chris Olave.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if we're matchmaking, right, running our wide receivers to the Saints, I mean, I know you want chaos, Florio. I don't know if you want Alec Pierce there.
No, I don't think they could afford him. I mean, the Saints are a case study in how not to manage the cap.
They have like $65 million in dead cap. Like,
I
what
mean,
are
Derek
they
Carr's
doing?
a hit. Alvin Kamara, I get it. He means everything to that city. He said he won't play anywhere else. All of that. They're paying. He's like a $19 million dead cap hit at like 31 this year. Like, it's just Taysom Hill. Like, I get it. You want to be good to your guys, but like, I don't know, man. They've really bungled the books as of late. And this is like a 10-year tradition.
Yes, not even as of late. I mean, this is an ongoing thing where everybody was kind of watching between their fingers, like it was a horror movie. Like at some point, it's gonna blow up on them. Like here we are.
It made sense when you had late career Drew Brees, right? You're trying to get him another ring. You're trying to, but ever since then, it just hasn't made any sense.
Yeah. So now they got to sort of take their medicine and try to rebuild from there.
Poor
but
Tyler
I guess
Shuck.
The good news is one, maybe they do have something with Tyler Shuck. I am curious to see kind of how that goes. But also, again, it's a division where there is no clear-cut dominant team there too. So being semi-relevant isn't necessarily that far away. Which gets us to the Falcons. They got about $24 million in cap space. Wide receiver is listed as a need. I would I guess not tight end, right? If they're franchise tagging Kyle Pitts, so they've got that sort of locked up. I mean, I guess you sort of want another compliment to Drake London, but I don't know. Until they figure out a quarterback. Like, I don't know if I'm investing a ton in wide receiver if I don't know that I have a quarterback right now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. If you don't have a quarterback right now, it wouldn't even matter if you put any type of wide receiver there. And like, I do think there's names that we can put out there and have fun with. Like, again, Christian Kirk's name that I'm going to keep bringing up. I think Tutu Atwell would be a good field stretcher there. Like, there's a lot of names that we could pinpoint there, but without a quarterback, it's kind of like whatever.
There still is
like,
Darnell
what are we
Mooney,
doing?
who wasn't healthy at any point last
which is like was so wrong that they didn't bother to like let anybody know that he wasn't healthy, but they also criticized his lack of production. It's like, well, come on, man.
Bro, he was hurt during camp.
Right. He was in and out of the lineup. Like, it was bad. But I do think Christian Kirk is a really good call because he won't be expensive either. He can play out wide in the slot. Like, you can move all three of those guys around.
Yeah. Serviceable, man.
Christian Kirk is just serviceable, right? Like, that is the ceiling on him at this point.
It's like Chick-fil-A serviceable, though. It's good service. Like, I mean, you ain't gonna cry about it.
Yeah, except Chick-fil-A doesn't show up on Sundays.
The Steelers.
Oh, well, that is true. There is no Chick-fil-A on Sundays.
Chick-fil-A's closed on Sundays, so like, that's not
there's
gonna
a
help
Chick-fil-A
nobody.
in their stadium.
That's not open on Sunday. It's not open on game days.
Why? So what is it there for?
Sunday. They play on Sundays.
Oh my god!
The Chick-fil-A
It's there for the one Monday night game they get every 4 years.
Yeah,
Or the
for Thursday night football and stuff. Like, you can go get a chicken sandwich or whatever.
Do they operate like for staff in buildings during the week? Otherwise, why did they build it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I guess,
That's
you know,
insane.
they have concerts.
That would be
and
the
stuff.
most busiest day.
They have
Like,
other
you would make
events and
so
stuff
much
there.
money.
Like, they play college football games and stuff there. And like, I'm assuming it's open for
True.
those days. And like concerts and all that kind of stuff.
I forget these
So-
stadiums get used for other stuff too.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
I mean, hey, look, I'm sure there are plenty of places that get built for hundreds of millions of dollars and only operate like 30 days a year. I'm sure it happens.
Awesome.
Great. Yeah, exactly. The Bucks need a tight end. I don't even think they need a wide receiver. I know, look, there's a good chance they don't have Mike Evans next year, right? But I would think that with Ibuka, with a healthy McMillan, with whatever we get from Chris Godwin,
Big
it feels like they're
Tez.
set at wide. That Tez,
yeah,
they're
wow.
set at wide. They're set at wide receiver. They're set at running back with Bucky Irving. Baker Mayfield's good enough. Tight end is
Their
kind of a need
RB2
for
they
them.
got to figure out whether they want to, because Sean Tucker's
It's definitely
restricted,
Sean
so they
Tucker.
can match in
And
the
Rashad
offer,
White's a free agent also this year,
Yeah.
too.
Rashad White tweeted out he's leaving the day they got eliminated.
Yeah, the day. He wasted no time to hit the Twitter streets. I'm gone.
He had it in his drafts already.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, he was just like, all right, time to fire this off.
Nah, that was a scheduled tweet. He wasn't even really live tweeting that.
Like, and I don't feel like the Bucks are any, you know, they're like, all right, well, have fun.
Thanks for your time.
thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
He got hit with future endeavors. We wish you the best in all your future endeavors. It's probably what happened for them there. Tight end feels like the biggest sort of offensive skill position need for them right now.
He's available for him, though.
I think Kate Otten
sort of
is,
the question.
obviously he might not be there, but I think for the open market, he's a sneaky tight end.
He is. I think for the Bucks,
I think
it's
Philly.
more of
I got
It's more
Kate
the
going to
price.
Philly.
interesting.
Kate going to Philly just seems right.
Cheaper
Interesting.
Dallas Goddard, I like it.
Is he though? Is he going to be a cheaper one? I mean, I'm looking at like the market value on Spotrac right now, and Kate Otten has a slightly higher, like about $500,000 higher average annual value than Goddard does right now.
I think he might be
he's a
more
little bit younger.
in 2026, but he'll probably be. I don't remember exactly what Goddard was making this past year, but I think that'll be because they did pay him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to pull up.
He's also about 5 years younger. So, I think that sort of works in his advantage. I'm looking at other potential tight end options, and I don't, I guess Isaiah Likely's potentially out there, but again, if you're worried about cost, Isaiah Likely's not the guy that you want.
He played for $10 million last year. That was it. I thought it was more than that.
You got to start scrolling down, Marcus. I mean,
you gotta scroll a
the
little
Tyler
bit.
Conklins of the world, the Mo Alley Cox, like that's kind of where we're at right now because they don't have money either. So again, their best options are not there.
Darren Waller,
Harrison Bryant is floating around out there.
Mercedes Lewis.
Bro, you scrolled all the way down. That's page 3.
I mean,
I just had to say his name.
whoever's playing in London has to take Mercedes Lewis. Like that's the law. Is that he's
The Rams should sign him because of the MJD connection.
Yeah. I mean, not that they did play together in Jacksonville at the start of their careers, but they have been tied together for a while. They played against each other in high school. They were together at UCLA. They were drafted the same year. They both
UCLA
the Jaguars.
We're also finalizing their deal at SoFi.
UC Los Angeles. All right.
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the good news is you won't have to go very far to get a good seat.
I love that Marcas meant that as like a dig, and Laquan was like, "Let's go!"
Right? Like, I mean, there'll be plenty of good seats available at SoFi, and you don't have to drive all the way up to Pasadena. So, I mean, there's good news there for that. So that's cool. All right, the Panthers. Panthers could use some wide receiver help to go alongside Ted McMillan.
Sign Jalen Coker. That's my take. Sign him.
Is that enough, though?
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
do they need running back help? Like, is Rico Dowdle really the answer?
I feel like he's
Chuba-
gone. He was pretty upset at the end of the year.
I would say is Chuba their guy though, because Jonathan
Right,
Brooks
so
is
yes.
coming back. They like Trevor Etienne.
I forgot
Like, I
Jonathan
don't-
Brooks exists.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
I mean,
No,
like,
it's
I
bad.
really want. I mean, it's sad. Like, I really had high hopes for him, and maybe he can sort of have like a J.K. Dobbins kind of revival. But
Or James Robinson. You remember that?
oh man,
Oh yeah.
but I think the idea that Jonathan Brooks was going to be this game changer, like when he came out of college, like I don't know at this point.
You know what's really
Yeah.
bad? We're saying they need wide receiver. They've drafted one in the first round the last 2 years.
Yeah. Drafting is not an exact science. I mean, because like Xavier Legette, I think he's pretty much bumped up against the ceiling. I mean, maybe there was something there with Jalen Coker, but I don't know that that's enough with Tedoroa McMillan. Again, if Mike Evans wants to play the villain, you could go there and really elevate that team into like a legit playoff team.
Even if they sign Coker, which I think they should, I agree with you, LQ. I don't think you need to sign like another huge name, but I do think you want more depth because after those three, it's Jimmy Horn and that's about it on the roster right now. So like get a couple of nice depth pieces that like because eventually one of these three are going to miss some sort of time, I would imagine, and then you're going to need
Tutu Atwell.
Yeah,
That's a name I would
like
keep
a piece
throwing
like
out there.
that, like something like that where they don't need to start. Like you're not Mike Evans, but like just someone that if you need to use, you could sprinkle in games and stuff like that. That's what I think.
I think that's fair because they're close, but they definitely need another piece or two because McMillan was nice, but he's gonna need some help. I think they could also, I don't know. You like Jatavian Sanders, right, Laquan?
Yes.
You're big on
Yes.
Jatavian Sanders, so I don't know. Maybe they don't need to add a tight end.
He stay
At least-
healthy, but yeah.
At least not a pass catching tight end. Maybe he's their guy at some point. I don't know. All right, so there you go. That's our look at the AFC and NFC South. On Thursday, we will wrap this up with the AFC and NFC West. And then that'll get you ready for the start of free agency next week. So, of course, we'll have plenty to do there. In fact, I would imagine that next Tuesday when we are recording, we should be on the lookout because I'm sure there will be announcements going on as we are doing that. So that will be interesting as well. So should be fun. So we'll look forward to that coming up next week. In the meantime, for us, that'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Enjoy the week, everybody. And we will talk to you again on Thursday.